Show you how I do my artisan bread. Very easy, no knead method. It requires a 6-quart cast iron Dutch oven, which we're going to bake the bread in later on. A large bowl to let the bread rise. And I've got some flour in here right now, a total of 6 cups. Here's my last cup and a half there. So I've got 6 cups of flour. Here's my yeast. Rapid rise yeast. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. 1, 2. There we go. And salt. 2 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2. And mixed up some water. To the 6 cups, we're going to add 3 cups of tepid or slightly warm water. Our tap water works great because it comes right from our well. If you've got some unchlorinated water or some nice quality water, use that. The better the water, the better the bread. Here's 2 cups and 1 more. There we go. There's another cup. That's 3 cups of water. And all we're going to do is just mix it around here. We're wanting that flour and yeast and salt to form a dough. Don't worry about mixing it too much here. You just want it to kind of all come together. When it starts to come together, you can switch to using your hands if you'd like to get into the dough and make sure all that flour gets wet and absorbed. It's starting to kind of take on a doughy shape, so I'll switch to my hands here. I'm not trying to knead too much here, I'm just trying to form up a dough. Get all these loose ends in there, loose scraps. As soon as all of those scraps get absorbed into the dough, I'm going to put the lid on it. There we go. We got a nice dough formed up here. Just like that. A few little scraps of flour have fallen off there. That's fine. That's all you want right there. It's a shaggy dough. It's a little on the wet side. It's got some floury edges to it, some wet edges to it. It's holding together nicely. Perfect. We're going to cover it, and we're going to put this in the back room, a nice warm spot in the house here, for a minimum of 4 hours. The longer you let this dough rise, up to 12 hours, the more of a flavor will be imparted on the bread. So a minimum of 4 hours to let it rise, up to 12 hours. If you want to start in the evening, you can bake it the next morning. That's always a good option. But we're going to let it rise here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put it in the Dutch oven. Okay, so we're back here at about 5.5 hours after this has been sitting in a warm place rising. And our shaggy dough has turned into a nice risen dough there. We're going to take a little bit of flour. Just going to sprinkle it on the top here, just a scoop. Coat my hands a little bit in there. We're just going to peel it away from the side of the bowl, just kind of trying to get the wet ends to be flour coated in there. Gather it up. There we go. And that's our dough. And all we're going to do is fold it once. Fold it again. And we're ready for the Dutch oven here. So we're going to take our Dutch oven. A little bit of flour on the bottom. That's it. Just enough to coat the bottom here. And we're going to take our dough. Place it right in the Dutch oven. Cover it up. The Dutch oven is not hot, obviously. I like to start with a cold Dutch oven and let the oven heat it up for a little bit extra steam here. So here we go, we're gonna go put it in the oven. I've got the oven preheating to 500. It's got about 200 degrees right now, so it's still preheating. We're gonna put it in the oven here for 45 minutes covered. And it's going to hit that 500 degree mark there in about 5 or so minutes. Again, the preheat of the oven, the cold start to the oven allows the last push of that loaf to get the most rise out of it before it hits the 500 degree temperature. So we're using that cold start to the oven as well as the Dutch oven covered there to get a lot of extra steam in that loaf. That's going to give us a very chewy crumb and a very crusty crunch to the crust there. So 45 minutes, we're going to come back, we're going to uncover the Dutch oven and let the loaf cook for another 15 or 20 minutes or so until we got a nice golden brown or a nice caramelly brown crust, and then it'll be ready. That's it. So 44 minutes and counting. Okay, we're at about 45 minutes, and we're going to come in here, remove the top of the Dutch oven here. It's looking pretty good. We're going to crisp that up a little bit more here. Go about 15 more minutes. But we'll watch it here and see what happens. Alright, here we go. Oh, got a little too much there. Ooh, that's hot. It's one a nice Italian bread. There you have it.